I have just started dating. So I'm going at this from her point of view since she wrote the letter. And I think, Sarah, and you can follow anyone's advice you want, and I'm just throwing this in there, but I think if your family has a normal holiday thing, get together, you should definitely go to your family. And that's what you should tell him. You should say, listen, my family's got a regular thing. Maybe next year what we can do, is plan something together, or let's plan. No, don't even say next year in case you don't like him and he likes you a lot. Sorry.
No,
but just say, let's plan our own thing together because I already have plans with my family, or we have, standing plans. And that way then.
And you can't come? No, that's terrible.
No, I don't think that's terrible.
Yeah,
why is
you're
that
like,
terrible?
You invited me to come, and then I'm like, no, I'm going to go to my family, but I'm not reciprocating the invite. You can't do that. You can't get out of it by saying I'm going.
I don't think it's tit for tat.
It is.
I don't think so.
You don't be like, I'd rather go to my family without you.
Well, it depends on how you say it. That's not how you say it. You say, oh my God, that is so sweet of you. You know what, though? My family has a thing every single year that I really have to go to. But what I'd love to do is plan something with you that's just you and me. What can we plan
because
just together?
You just said you have a long-standing thing with your family. So
right.
Suddenly that's not written in stone? You want to come up with a third plan?
Yes, on a different day.
Well, I don't know about that. But they...
you got to say it in the right way.
I think you need to go. He asked, you need to go. I don't think you have a long-standing family thing. You shouldn't lie. You're going to have to sample how crazy they are. And then you'll know. You'll know if they're crazy. But go into that as a fact-finding mission. And do it like that. Don't do it because,
Definitely a fact-finding mission.
Yeah. You need to find out how crazy...
because you might not want to go out with him after meeting them, and that's okay too, because you know what, they are in your life. If you do end up staying with this guy that you just started dating, at least the talk of them is going to be in your life. And I always say, pick your scene. Don't just get involved with somebody and think whatever they're into is fine, because whatever their scene is going to color your life together.
Okay, next one.
Okay, next one is from Emily in Toronto. Do you say Toronto or Toronto?
What do they say?
Well, it's in print. It's Toronto.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, Emily from Toronto.
In the north.
I'll say it with the second T.
Toronto.
My really good girlfriend is seeing a guy who is absolutely wrong for her, but I believe is absolutely right for me. How do I tell her that he's wrong for her without her getting mad when I start dating him after they break up?
See, I think this is possible. I think this is fine, and I'm fine with it. There is a chance that as a good friend, she thinks that she would be better with this guy than her. I think those are two completely separate things. It can be bad for her, and it could be for her friend, and it could be right for her. I think that's fine. Is she asking how to say that?
How do I tell her that he is wrong for her without her getting mad when I start dating him after they break up?
I think you have to be like...
So it doesn't sound like he's a jerk, because this girl says, oh, he's right for me. They're just not a match.
Maybe she likes jerks.
It could be. He could still be a jerk.
So I wish I knew the characteristic of why she's wrong for her, or maybe he's too quiet for her or something. I think you spin it in a way that you're like... That's the kind of guys I go out with. I can't believe you would put up with something like that. I don't know. Something like that.
That's really smart. I actually had something like this happen one time.
This is reasonable.
I had this good girlfriend, and she was dating this guy, and then he came over, and he clearly was a better match for me than her. And so he just said out in the middle of the room, he said, do you think it's ever appropriate to date, the friend of somebody that you used to date? Mm-hmm. And I think it must have been obvious to everyone. And she hollered out, never. And then I hollered out, never. And so that pretty much ended any possibilities there.
See, I'm on the record of saying there's lots of times where that's fine.
Yeah.
This happened to me once where I was dating a girl and I didn't like her that much. And my friends all wanted to date her, and they're like, "Can you just break up with her or get her to break up with me so we can have a?"
date.
And there was like a bidding war.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, "You guys do not want her. She's terrible." And they're like, "We don't care. She's really hot." And it got up to like $2,000. And I'm like, what would you like to do? I'm like, it's not a slave trade. Like, I can't make her like you. And they were like, you could put in a good word for one of us.
So I'm going to give you $500 to put in a good word for me with your girlfriend.
Yes.
That's silly.
This isn't working
terrible.
out. You know who you would be good with?
What kind of
Frank.
friends do you have?
Well, both of them are deceased now, actually. Sadly.
Sorry.
But no, I mean, they had a good run.
I was going to say we should have them on the show.
No, they won't. But both of them, so they really believed that I could somehow steer her towards one of them, and they had a little bidding war. So
that's a terrible story.
I'm not saying these are not good stories. It's all's fair in love and war, though.
That's awful.
I think that she should have two separate conversations. I don't think he's right for you. Let that go. Let's see how that plays out when they break up, and then I think that because you're already thinking about dating him, you already would date him. You're clearly willing to break any kind of girl code that you girls have. One thing at a time. Break them up and then make your move. I'm fine with that. Keiko's nicer than me.
I'm gonna just be the voice of reason here for a moment. As you said, that's why you invited me on the show today. Thank you very much, and I'm gonna do that. Okay, so the truth about dating anyone is that you are going to break up with everyone except the last person you're with. So you called her your really good girlfriend, and you said she's seeing a guy. So you didn't really give us a lot of ammo there, or give me a lot of ammo.
A husband.
No, she's not, and that would be a whole crazy different thing that is not this question. But I mean, you are going to break it. So what I'm saying is that, how good is the girlfriend, and how attracted are you to this guy? I mean, I know lust goes a long way and causes people to do things, but I don't know. Are you lusting after this guy so much that you want to take that chance of just messing up all these relationships? You will lose the girlfriend for sure, and you're probably going to end up losing the guy because, like I said, you do break up with everyone except the last person you're with.
She might not for sure lose the girlfriend. The girlfriend might be like, "You're right. He's not for me. Ugh. You can have him." Yeah,
take Brian Howie's advice.
The discard
on this.
pile.
Yeah.
If you put him in the discard, if you get her to break up with him, it's not. And I don't know the rules up there in Ontario. It might be different. But I think go for it.
Well, that's interesting. The Canadians are very polite. Maybe there is a polite Canadian style conversation that you would somehow be able to have with the girlfriend and just say, how's it going with him?
I think
are you guys a match? Why do you think you guys are a match? And kind of interview her a little bit.
Big picture here, it's absolutely reasonable to look at two people and say they aren't right together, and then separately thinking that person actually would be a better fit with me. I think that absolutely could happen.
Oh, it absolutely could happen.
So I don't,
But she's asking how to deal with it, and that's the hard part.
I think it's one at a time. I think you don't lily pad it, as you say. You don't make him hop from you to her. You start out with tell him you don't think they're right, and then see if he even goes for you, because he might not like you.
He might have no idea.
He has some say in this too.
You didn't. Again, she didn't
it's
give
not
us
a bidding war like my friends.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't give us a lot of ammo there. I mean, has this guy? I would want to know. Has this guy made eyes at you? Has he indicated in any way that he also feels a connection to you, except that he's just not doing anything?
I think that would be worse.
That would be worse.
Because she might pick on that.
Yeah.
All right, 3 down,
okay.
3 to go, and we will get to the next 3 right after this. Okay, and we are back with the ladies' listener letters.
And this is from Anne-Marie in Kansas City. Anne-Marie says, I like sports more than most guys, and most guys that I like don't like sports at all. How do I get them interested in me if they aren't interested in something that I have a great interest in? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kansas City's filled with guys who like sports. Can't you find one of those guys? That is weird. That
the same
a girl
thing,
who
right?
likes sports likes guys who doesn't like. Well, that's not unusual. Like I wouldn't need a girl
who likes sports. Is it the
who
opposites attract thing?
No, it's just that's her thing. So if she's worried that she likes sports and the guys don't, that's no different from if a guy likes sports and the girl didn't. I think that you don't have to share each other's complete passions and hobbies. It's just, once in a while, invite them to do something involved in sports, playing it or watching it, and try and share that experience with them. Most people can get caught up in things that you are passionate about. People are attracted to the passion. It's sort of like in, did you see La La Land, Keiko?
Yes, I did.
Where he tried to get her excited about jazz, and she went from not getting it and thinking jazz was boring or something to being attracted by his passion for it, and she understood that. Same thing here. Whatever these guys are not into, besides sports in Kansas City, barbecue, I don't know, music, whatever, try and to see what their passion is and try and find out about that, and I think they're going to reciprocate your curiosity in sports. But, if you spend all your time with other guys watching sports, that isn't necessarily that fun for somebody who does that. It's also not that fun if I'm a non-drinker and I hang around with people who are drunk all the time. That's also probably not fun. So you're also going to have to decide. A lot of people like things because they don't have somebody else to give them something else to like. Maybe you like sports because you don't have the right boyfriend yet. And once you had the right boyfriend, you could find a third activity that would stimulate you as much as watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the Royals and whoever I assume you're a fan of. Win or lose. I don't know. You don't have to like the same things, though.
No, you don't. But I think that the guys that you like can probably find some aspect of the sports that they will like, whether or not they ever like sports. Like, for example, the food. Maybe they love hamburgers. Maybe they love, maybe there's something about it that they, that they would enjoy. So I think that's really it, is finding some common ground and sharing your passion with them. Mm-hmm. I do think that Brian Howie said something really important in this, which is that if you're dating a guy that doesn't like sports and you are just you happen to coincidentally be hanging out with other guys, because sorry for the stereotype, but guys do typically, like sports, that's probably not going to work. So you probably do need to find someone who is at least willing to go along with the ride and help him to find something that some aspect of it, like I say, like the hamburgers.
It would be rough if you're a guy who likes sports and you're dating, or vice versa, so not to be sexist here, and you're dating somebody who had to watch Bravo 3 hours a night, 5 nights a week, and that was sort of the equivalent thing. You could try and share and watch, Real Housewives of Atlanta once in a while, but it would be rough if it was a full time. So you might have to decide, how much time am I devoting to sports? Does that get in the way of a possible relationship? And can I figure out a way to sort of, blend the two into a happy medium, where maybe you cut back on your sports watching a little bit and include it? But you'd be surprised. I've learned that a lot in the last 5 years, or maybe that's changed a lot in the last 5 years. How many girls are super into sports? And a lot of girls think that is attractive to guys. It isn't. It really isn't. And so you can like sports, and I'm not saying don't like sports and root for your team and do whatever. Don't be mistaken to think that that's an attractive quality to guys. You don't want to be one of the guys. And a lot of guys think that.
That's
so
for sure.
You can like your sports all you want, but don't emphasize it as one of your qualities.
Yeah. Yeah, don't use that don't use that as your common ground or your common ground with guys. It's just,
this
you don't
idea that the guys want the girl with the hat and the glove. They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They don't.
They want you to be a girl.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's offensive.
And that was a little bit sexist, but I like the fact that I like the fact that you brought up the Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever, because if you were, I mean, just flip it for a minute. Let's pretend that you were into something that more females like watching these soap dramedy things.
Statistics.
You could always, I know, but you could always say something like, if he absolutely hated it, you could say, you know what, I get why you hate this, but will you watch one episode with me? Because I just think it would be hilarious for us to dish on about them together. And